No matter how fabulous your email campaigns are, if they're not actually getting to your subscribers, then your hard work is going unnoticed. This is a bitter pill that I've had to swallow myself. We just recently scrubbed more than 20,000 people from my email list. These were email addresses that were bouncing or not engaging, were dummy email addresses or robots to begin with. But even with that, I would still say hands down, no questions asked, my most valuable asset in my business truly is my email list. Those are my people. That is way more important to me than any social media audience that I may have. And more than anything, I care that those people are actually getting my emails delivered to them, especially because you have to pay for an email marketing platform. So in this video, I am going to answer the question, is email marketing worth it in 2021? Email platforms aren't cheap, and they also tend to cost more as your list grows. Specifically, I'm going to answer the question, is ConvertKit worth it? That is where I first started to build my email list into the tens of thousands, and so I learned a lot there, and that's what I want to unpack here. Welcome back. If we haven't met yet, my name is Ashlyn Carter. I'm a conversion copywriter and brand and launch strategist for creative entrepreneurs. And the hot news here is that nothing's changed. The ROI on email is still incredibly high. Past years have shown it's about a 38-to-1 ratio. We're looking at about a 42-to-1 ratio right now. And here's the thing. I don't know a lot about investing, but I feel like anything that I can put down $1 and get 42 back is a wise investment. Done right, your email marketing is like that. But also, like I said at the beginning, these emails, this all depends on the fact that these emails are being delivered, are actually getting to people and getting in their inboxes. And a lot of things affect email deliverability. The four most important things that are going to affect your deliverability are: number one, your subscriber engagement. Number two, limiting negative metrics, so you don't want people marking these spam. Number three, authentication. And fourth, content. Actually what's in that body copy of the email. Hit like if you're also excited to talk a little bit nerdy in this video, and if you're going all in on emails, that is, if you're going to be spending the money on an email platform, these emails better be getting to the people. Well, you and me and our copywriting clients that we serve in my business have got to be on a platform that is trustworthy and can do this job. My go-to recommendation for years has been ConvertKit. But no matter if you use ConvertKit or another platform, in this video I'm unpacking 3 things to look for in your email marketing provider. By the way, I put out videos like this every week. If while I'm talking, you're picking up what I'm putting down, then hit the subscribe button and the bell next to it, and I will let you know when the next one comes out. Okay, number one, design and templates. So I remember back in 2016 when I was transitioning out of corporate marketing, where I helped craft emails and draft copy for businesses like Delta Airlines, into the space that I'm in now. I remember there was a lot of talk about making these emails, the marketing campaign emails, look as native as possible in subscribers' inboxes. There was a lot of focus on stripping some design elements out and playing around with the deliverability that happened when you send a predominantly text-based email. I still believe in those, but my prediction for this year and kind of where I see people landing is I think people now do appreciate more of a design-driven email. I think people like pretty emails, but we have to couple that with the fact that platforms like Google, Gmail are smarter. Now they have more data to go off of, and they are more quickly able to realize and recognize and flag for you when something looks like it may not be from your mom or friend or family member. So those are going into your promos tab. So here is my tip in number one. Don't be afraid to send design-driven emails, but I would season them in and also send more text-based emails so you can start to play around with and see what happens. I would guarantee you that the ones that are more text-based are just going to more naturally have better deliverability. But like I said, if those stats are playing well and working in your favor, then I think you can afford to send out more of a design-focused email or an email with more imagery from your brand in it. Out of curiosity, comment below what kinds of emails do you like. I feel split down the middle. I like a good text-based email. I also enjoy a pretty email that's full of images and just fun to look at. So if you're going to do this and send a mix of both, or if you are going to send more design-based emails overall in your strategy, absolutely go with an email marketing platform that is able to carry that. That's why I like ConvertKit. So I moved from MailChimp to ConvertKit when I had almost 100 subscribers, and I'm sure a lot of that was my family, but you have to start somewhere. I stayed on there till I got to about 20,000, and then from there, in full disclosure, I actually use Infusionsoft now because I work more with a team that helps me manage my list. It's not just me, but I have had plenty of clients with massive lists on ConvertKit, and it works well for them. All this to say, when you're in those building years, I want you to at least test both kinds kinds, and I'm going to flip that camera around in just a moment and show you how to build out a design template inside ConvertKit and keep that ready to go. But I also wanted to draw attention to, I don't know if you knew this, but ConvertKit has a deliverability hub. I will link it below. It's just, I think it's helpful for anybody that sends emails. They give kind of like state of the union and status updates and what's going on as far as deliverability for email marketing overall. I've found that incredibly helpful just to star and keep and reference and read from time to time. Okay, let's flip the camera around. Let me show you how to build out a template in ConvertKit. Okay, here we are inside ConvertKit. This is what I wanted to show you, and I just talked about earlier the difference in plain text and more design focused. I'm going to show you an example of a plain text email when I talk about broadcasts. But to get to templates, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click Email Templates. It's under, if this menu pops out, that's what I clicked on. And while I can go ahead and have, these are uploaded some old examples that I used to have, or some old templates that I had. You can also click New Email Template, and if you don't know code, don't want to know code, we get to choose some of these and begin to work with. So you can build your template off that, which is so great. Or you can use the HTML editor and make your own. So let me show you what that could look like for you. I'm going to come in, and this was, like I said, moved off ConvertKit in 2018 because I was outsourcing that side of the business. But what I can do is all of this HTML is loaded in, and I'm going to click Preview Layout. And this window will pop up for me to be able to see a little bit of how more design focused. You can't see, I didn't put links in here, but the unsubscribe link has a certain color, or sorry, there's different body style colors for headlines, subheads, so on and so forth in here. But that is what was just really, really helpful to be able to install a template and work with, or be able to have a template that you can start with from scratch, because they give you all of these incredible templates. When you click open in this, click around a little bit more. Boom, there we go. We get to see, and you can insert your colors and your typefaces that you use, etc. So that's nice. But like I said, try both. The number 2 reason I think it's worth it is for a good automation and sequence build out capability. One of the best client text messages I ever got was from a client who said, oh my gosh, I just looked and we have made more than $30,000 this month on a funnel that you wrote that they had uploaded into ConvertKit on an email automated sequence. So these were just firing out. This is going to be not like your broadcasts. I'm going to talk about those in a minute, where you're sending those out live and you actually need to hit the send button. But these automated sequences are just firing on their own accord. Let me caveat this with, like I said last week, don't let not having all your sequences and funnels set up hold you back from at least sending broadcasts, okay? You could analysis paralysis yourself all day and never have all the sequences and your long-term nurture funnel all built out. So you need to just at least start sending broadcasts. Again, I'll talk about those in a minute, but I want to give you the bigger picture and the long-term strategy. So that's why I'm talking about automations and sequences in number 2. It's helpful for me to start with the end in mind. Let me turn the camera around again and show you what it's like to build out an automation or a sequence inside ConvertKit. Okay, let's talk automations and sequences. This is where ConvertKit just sparkles to me beyond so many other platforms, and I've been inside a lot. But even though, and I mentioned this earlier, we moved in 2018 from ConvertKit to the platform we're on now. I've kept my account so I can just like play around in it and continue to see what's up. We did it from a bandwidth standpoint. Let me like talk and click things. I'm going to go ahead and click automations while I say this. This still, if I were the one building out all of the sequences in my business and I hadn't hired for that position, I would still probably like, I need to see it visually like ConvertKit does. To me, it makes so much more sense for the way my brain works. So that's why I think this is just stellar. Absolutely so stellar. All right, so I'm going to click open new automation right here. And once I do this, this is you'll see kind of as I talk through it. The first thing I want to do, we talked about templates. I can click create automation, and I'm going to click joins a form, but we can add so many different other things when they purchase XYZ products, so on and so forth. But the easiest thing right now, if we're just talking about like getting things set up, all of the different forms and opt-ins that you have. So let's say joins a form when they're added to, like some of these are really old, but they're good, they worked. I'm going to click blog opt-in. Still believe in that practice, embedded. blog opportunity at the bottom, or an opt-in opportunity at the bottom of every blog. When I open this up, we can see that old pink color I used to use. Can edit the copy, you can edit the imagery, you can edit the brand colors, etc., and save that. But the next thing that I can do is come back over here and click this plus sign and say what happens. So when you think automations, it's a little bit like a game of if this, then this. When this happens, then this needs to happen. So when I click this plus sign, ta-da, I can then add the next step, the if this then sort of thing. I'm going to say if they come in here, then I want to add them to, I'm going to say an email sequence, and it's going to be my welcome sequence. So there it is. Maybe you have a different welcome sequence when people come in from a webinar opportunity, etc. I'm going to click add action. And this is the part I love, because in so many platforms, this is not intuitive. But I love this. Look, it accordions out over, and now I can go through and edit the copy here and install things and go throughout the whole funnel and be able to send this out. So that's what I wanted to show you, which is so great to be able to do. We also have the opportunity, you can click open sequences and go in and edit all of those sequences like we just looked at. But I really like, again, making it in the visual automations tool, because you can see, you don't have to draw out some crazy funnel somewhere. You can just see it be installed and what's going to happen. And that is so helpful. And number 3, sending out broadcasts. So a little bit of tough love. I have to tell myself this too. As great as automations are and sequences, no one's really waiting with bated breath for you to send the next email in a sequence. They're not sitting there waiting. And that's okay. Sequences have a place, but I also want you to make sure in your strategy that you're sending out broadcasts live and just as things happen in life. Again, in last week's video, I walked through almost an entire year's worth of ideas that you can send out as an email broadcast. But let me show you now how to install one of those in ConvertKit. Okay, let's talk about getting that broadcast email out. So what I'm going to do up here in the top tab, this is just my main screen in ConvertKit. I'm going to come and click broadcasts. So think broadcast, think newsletter is what some people call those. This is a going out to multiple people, as opposed to an automation or a sequence where it's part of a drip funnel. Okay, so what I want to do now is click new broadcast, and I'll open up this. And this is where I get to set the settings before I get into actually pumping in the content. So the first thing I'm going to do is designate who the email is from. Let me know below if there's different things that go into sender name, but I'm just going to keep it at Ashlyn from ashlynwrites.com. But if you have other names in your account, you can change that there. Okay, this is the fun part. So any, all, or none. I'm going to select who is actually sending this. If you've seen my video where I talk about building out a long-term nurture funnel, I've also done lots of videos talking about a welcome sequence. You can segment out these people. So this is where I like to have a newsletter sequence that everybody, after they move through the welcome sequence, they get put into the newsletter sequence. And that's where they're getting these regular broadcast emails. And so it doesn't interrupt them while they're in the welcome sequence. So I definitely recommend doing that. And then, yeah, I'm going to hop to it. So I'm going to click next step. Over here, I can actually dump in the content. And what I would recommend doing as well is I draft my email content in Word docs, and they live in our Google Doc drive. And then I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste it in here. So you can also see how you can insert certain information. So we talked about plain text earlier. So this would be more of a plain text email that we can do and crank out here. So on and so forth. You've got all those options. So I'm going to go ahead and you can type all your copy here. Also, I feel like I keep being like, also, I have a list below of subject line templates that you can use, but I would plug in your subject line here. And at the end of this video, I'll show you how to split test them. But this is basically all you need to know to at least get the content in the email. You can add your images, so on and so forth. Also personalization. So, hey, maybe you want to do, let me show you this real quick. I'm going to do subscriber first name right here. We can see how I can insert their name, but what we want to do and what I would encourage you to do is to instead use this one where it's a personalized greeting. So when we click this, there is a fallback. So if they didn't give you their name, it was just going to say hello there. So that's something I would highly recommend doing. Another thing I like, we can go ahead and preview it both in the browser and as an email form. So if I clicked this open, it would open it right here and I can look at it. I would absolutely though recommend sending test examples to yourself as well prior to sending it out. So let's say next step, and then I'll show you kind of the last piece of the puzzle. Voila, this is how we're able to preview it and see what it may look like. We can also schedule this so we can get it going out maybe a couple hours from now, so on and so forth, and get ready to go. So voila, that is how you get started with sending out your broadcasts inside ConvertKit. Here's a bonus tip. Keep an eye on your data and split test everything. Like I've said multiple times in this video, that deliverability is so important. So making sure that you got your ear to the ground and you're listening and trying to understand and pull and aggregate data of what your audience, what your email audience likes and doesn't like is very, very important. One thing I have loved about ConvertKit and Infusionsoft is the relative ease that there is in split testing subject lines specifically. And so that's what I want to flip the camera around one last time and show you in ConvertKit how to run a split test on different subject lines that you may want to see what gets more clicks in your business. All right, talked about it in a recent video about the importance of your subject line to actually affect the click-through rate of the email, not just the open rate of the email, which seems like mind gymnastics, but it can absolutely have an effect on it. So I would for sure text your, like this is the easiest, this is like low-hanging fruit you can absolutely do. So I'm going to try some different subject lines here and challenge yourself to do two that look very different. So maybe let's try, and I talk about like the different kinds. So let's try, like, I call it the family lead, like one that looks like, whoop, my boxer's going off. You get from a friend or family. So things that are on my desk right now. And then let's say, let's do one that's more like open loop, this. Okay, so see how like drastically different these are? So when you're testing email subject lines, don't be afraid. Like, yes, you can test ones that are very similar, but I would go for it and do something like this. So then you can really start to learn what your audience actually likes. And then what is going to happen is, I'm going to say next step, and it's going to push me over here. So what's nice is, boom, it's the way that ConvertKit is set up as an email marketing platform is it will automatically have a 4-hour A/B split testing time frame to work in, which I prefer when I'm working and sending emails in Infusionsoft. I always set it at 4 hours because I do want it to get out in a timely fashion. And 15% is really like that's what we need. And so we're going to see who opens it within those of that 15% within the first 4 hours, and then the winning one is going to go out to the rest of your email list. So again, highly recommend doing that. It's pretty easy to do and makes a big difference. All right. Be sure to look down below for a link of a workshop that I did with my friend Angel at ConvertKit. It's on demand, so you can watch it whenever you want. It won't be live, but the content is so valuable and I think you'll find it useful. Now you know why I believe in paying good money for an email marketing platform that not just works and makes pretty emails, but actually gets them in the hands of your subscribers. But what about the best subject lines and the content to send out to increase fans and buyers? Watch the next video I have teed up for you, where I'm going to take you through 45 different content ideas that you can send out to your email list. If you liked this video, let me know by hitting the like button and subscribing, and also comment below all in. If you get this message, it's gotten through to you and you're like, okay, we're gonna go for this. I'm gonna go all in on my email marketing this year. I'm right there with you. Let's work from a place of more rest, less hustle, and I'll see you in the next one.